Good evening, this is TCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, New Hoi Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. GMFDI experiences God visit once again today. Thousands of believers attended the program amid rain. KIM disapproves imposition of AFSPA in the hills, says there had been no attack on central forces from the cookies. Don't move. Non-partisan Assam Rifles out of Manipur. Cookies oppose center's decision. News in detail. Gospel Ministry for Disabilities India (GMFDI) experiences the deliverance of another message from God today, the 7th of August 2024 at 10 a.m. sharp, and lasted for more than 3 hours. As usual, the believers had gathered at the venue before program starts. Today as well, the believer had reached the place by 8 a.m. already, where they sing and pray and wait for the intercession hour with God. The believer says that God spoke to them here with His voice. The believers have experienced this type of unearthly activities many times, even before the start of the conflict, where they were warned of the upcoming Manipur violence and many other things as well. In this very place, the walkers used to cast out evil spirit who possess humans with the aim to take their life. God revealed Himself, saying He had never revealed Himself before other people or race, nor will He reveal before other nations or race in the future. He said He had already planned these things when He created the world. The workers, Evangelist Jinkolam and Evangelist Tanglin Say and Robert performs miraculously works in the name of Jesus, where they heal the sick and possessed, and also give deliverance to those who want to be born again. Healing prayers were met by the evangelists for the sick and needy that comes to them, so that they can pray for them and cure their physical and spiritual illness. Mention may be met that this type of event occurred since last year. It may be hard to believe, but the Manipur conflict had already been predicted here a week before it started. So many unearthly events are witnessed by the people who went here to pray and worship. At the beginning, there were only just few hundreds of believers, but the number of believers kept on increasing every day. Today's event was attended by thousands of believers who come to listen to the message of God delivers amid heavy rain downpour. God said, anyone who tries to wage war against my chosen nation is tantamount to waging war against me. They thought to themselves that they are waging war against my chosen people, unaware of whom they are waging war on. Behold, they are waging war against me, the living God who holds in His hand their very own lives. That is why every evil move they are making take a turn towards themselves, that bring misery upon themselves.
Ilang nena neho no chunga agon tabang banga amao chunga chudinga amo chunga kile dinga hi poile kanam dei han kamite dawachu keima ei dawa hi alung thima na ho daudan nen ki galvin adu uku ko hi hepove.
Dark cloud that hovers upon you had been cleaned by the strongest angel Michael. Therefore be happy and rejoice. God said He will bless the Cookie nation beyond their imagination. Blessing that He has in store for the Cookie nations is beyond imagination. Therefore, you are blessed with happiness, God said.
Tunjong kipatavin? Kipatavin! Namasang mana kipana di ubaw na ngawe tay. Natsungwa mutim langkal hozong kay matahat nain Michael Vantil na siyam hopitan kipatavin. Hallelujah. Nang ho het khalam pia nang ho gel khalam pia kay man natsungwa patina kakoy pi na hibove kipatavin.
God said His interweaving with us is not only on earth, but His happiness is still in heaven, that He will be with us. My heavenly beings are also happy for you, He said. The blessing that you consider you receive is nothing compared to the blessings that I have in store for the Kuki nation.
Natsungwa ki pana ki man kaumpi na hi leya bahulo tun sot gaya ki pana hi. Hichi ki pana su leya go hilawa tun sot gaya na ki palut diu su kadai sa hi. Tua phathi na hon na gyal pau hi anyaw wale. Kaya kuna phathi na katsana hi tia phathi na ki gyal ho hi anyaw thei be se. No gyal kya lam pya phathi na ka koi pi pa to akhi wale.
Anyone who hears my voice and believes in me, whatever criticism, insult, and saying you may face and still believe in me is the greatest blessing I bestow upon you. There is no such blessing from the beginning of the universe. I have never bestowed these blessings upon no one except to my servant Jacob and your nation.
Nang ho atasan ho ka o za atasana kunin pi se jong le ho sit na zum na zana iza kai thoa ei tasan ho ka o za ho na ho phathi kabu na chunung pen na hi ve Hichi siam tila pa na his tabang phathi na hi lo hi Hichi phathi na hi koi madang kana pipun tunin kay ma ay ta sana di ta panga hausit na zum na za na jong thoa ay ta san ho nang ho phathi kabu na hi ve Hichi phathi na hi koi madang achang kapun Hichi phathi na tabang siam tila kun jang ampun Hichi kasupa kami pa Jacob le nang hobo kapi na hive. Hallelujah.
As the living God revealed Himself to His blessed nation, believers are tremendously increasing day by day. He said He will never leave the Kuki nation until and unless our aspirations are achieved. As He departed for today, He said He will send His angel Gabriel again. The Kuki MP Manipur issued a press release refuting the imposition of Assam Forces Special Powers Act 1958 in the hill regions of the state. In this release, KIM states that Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 AFSPA, a draconian law still imposed exclusively in the hill district of Manipur, is not only a violation of human rights but is also biased. The Kuki-Zo areas of the hill districts have been relatively peaceful, with the Kuki-Zo insurgent groups under suspensions of operations SOO, and has no history of conflict with the Indian Army or the Indian state since the SOO pact was signed. The release further said the ongoing imposition of AFSPA in the hill districts of Manipur, while it has been revoked in the valley areas, is a discriminatory act against the hill tribal population. The withdrawal of AFSPA and the subsequent resolve to extend the withdrawal of AFSPA in the valley areas. Even after the Arambai Tingle militia forced the state legislators to comply with their demands at Kangla Fort, Imphal, on January 24, 2024, is particularly concerning against the backdrop of the continuous extensions of AFSPA in the hill areas. Given that more than 6,000 arms looted in the Imphal Valley remains in the hands of militias, it is self-evident that AFSPA should be applied in the valley areas, where Meitei insurgent groups have a history of secessionist demands from the Indian Union. Furthermore, withdrawal of AFSPA in the valley has proven to be detrimental to the enforcement of law and order. Since the ethnic cleansing campaign on May 3rd, more than 6,000 arms and a significant amount of ammunition were looted from the state armories. There were instances when the Assam Rifles were forced to release Valley-based insurgent groups, VBIGs, due to local interference from the Meiteis, while the VBIG savored the removal of AFSPA in the Valley. The Kuki-Zo people are facing the brunt, having been forced to defend themselves from continuous Meitei aggressions. This may have resulted from the strategic increase in the withdrawal of AFSPA in the 19 police stations of Imphal Valley in March 2023, prior to the violence, whereas AFSPA was conveniently imposed in all the hill districts. Regarding the demand for removal of Assam Rifles by the Valley-based organizations, it is primary to note that the role of Assam Rifle is essentially border management and counter-insurgency. Their presence therefore is crucial, as the situation in Manipur remains counter-insurgency in nature, with over 6,000 sophisticated weapons still in radicalized civilian hands, and VBIG still brandishing their weapons on the street of the Imphal Valley. More so, the state-sponsored nature of the ethnic cleansing campaign necessitates for a strong presence of the Central Security Forces specialized in counter-insurgency. In essence, the partial removal of AFSPA is a clear deception of the government of India by the Manipur state government. It is a grave misuse of the successive powers of the state government under the Armed Force Special Power Act 1958. Therefore, KIM asks the central government to immediately revoke AFSPA in the Hill District. Alternatively, if AFSPA is deemed necessary, it should be imposed in the Imphal Valley areas, where it is most required due to the history of secessionist demand by Meitei insurgent groups. For the first time, 150 personnel of the Assam Rifles will be moved out of the operational area of the northeast and will be posted in Jammu, where there has been an uptick in militant activity. Most of the personnel who will be shifted are drawn from the strife-torn state of Manipur, amid protests by Kukis that the union government must reconsider its decision regarding non-partisan Assam Rifles, the Times of India reported. Since the start of ethnic conflict in Manipur, the central paramilitary force have been drawn into controversy, with Meiteis alleging that it is biased towards Kuki. The government has decided to move out 9 and 22 battalions of the Assam Rifles deployed in Manipur's Kangwai along the Churchampur-Bishnupur border and Gangchup on the Kangpokpi-Imphal East inter-district borders. The Assam Rifles in these areas will be replaced by Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF), citing sources. The TOI report said about 2,000 personnel of CRPF are being transferred to Manipur from Jammu and Kashmir and Telangana. It has been recommended that the command and control of the 2 CRPF battalions, relieving the Assam Rifles battalions, is vested with the respective Assam Rifles sector headquarters of IGE and IGS to ensure cohesion in operations in these sensitive areas. Additionally, the 2 CRPF battalions will undergo 3 months of on-the-job training in view of the prevailing security situations in the state. 10 Kuki MLAs of Manipur opposing the plan submitted a memorandum to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to withdraw the decision. We have come to learn that there is a plan to withdraw the 9th and 22 battalions of Assam Rifles from their current sensitive deployment at Kangwai and Kangpokpi, following pressure from the communally biased elements in the state government who leave no stone unturned to portray the Assam Rifle in a bad light just for the simple reason that they stood tall to serve as perhaps the finest neutral force so far, the memorandum said, according to India Today. The MLAs asserted that the Assam Rifles is indispensable for the maintenance of the current status quo in buffer zones in the state, adding that they may be replaced by other battalions of the Assam Rifles instead. The tribal legislators allege, according to India Today report, The decision to replace the Assam Rifles battalion with the CRPF at this critical juncture is nothing but a sinister design to expedite the Meitei Majoritarian ethnic cleansing campaign against the Kuki community. A unique paramilitary force, the Assam Rifles is operationally controlled by the Indian Army, but from an administrative point of view, it reports to the Union Home Ministry. In July 2024, the Casualty Department of the District Hospital in Lamka District recorded 358 trauma cases, including road accidents and other incidents. During the same period, 3,256 patients received treatment for various ailments, and 126 individuals were administered anti-rabies vaccines. In July, 123 pregnant women underwent checkups, and 16 cases of overdose were reported. Additionally, there were 10 cases of poisoning, 17 burn cases, and 7 cases of death on arrival. 2 patients died, and 1 was referred from another hospital to the district hospital. 20 patients were referred to other departments or hospitals, and 3 cases of snake bite were reported. Despite the high volume of cases, the Casualty Department continues to function smoothly. A total of 801 patients were administered to various hospital wards. From January to July this year, 6 cases of rape were reported, a significant increase from last year's total of 2 cases. The 6 cases reported this year include 1 in January, 3 in February, 1 in March, and 1 in May, with no cases reported in June and July. Authorities have expressed concern over the rising number of rape cases and are urging the public to remain vigilant. A 70-kilometer stretch of the Paimuk Road, also known as National Highway 2 from Lamka, has been damaged due to landslides, making it difficult for vehicles to pass through. The road has been closed since the monsoon season began, causing inconvenience to commuters. Although the authorities have tried to repair the road, the damage is extensive, with some part of the road sinking by up to 14 feet. The road is only 2 feet above the water level in some areas, making it impossible for vehicles to pass through. Similar incidents have been reported in other parts of the district, with landslides blocking roads in various locations. Recently, landslides have been occurred on the Paimuk Road, National Highway 2, between Aina and Lungchuang, and also between Sangting and Saihum. Despite efforts to clear the blockage, the road conditions remain precarious, and the stretch between V Munlai and Kozim is likely to be closed for an extended period. The local authorities are trying to find alternative routes, but the situation remains challenging. Today, on August 7, 2024 at 11 a.m., the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, organized the National Handloom Day 2024 at the Gospel Centenary Hall Auditorium in New Lamka. The chief guest was Semintang Lintang, Additional DC, and Zamlun Wang Zhou, DMM MSRLM, was the guest of honor. During the event, S. Paubiak Mangaiti, DDM NABARD, delivered the keynote address highlighting the importance of handlooms in preserving Indian culture and heritage. Thuam Zamu, LDM SPI Lamka, spoke about the various schemes and credit facilities available for handloom weavers. Klingboy of Tuibung shared her personal experience as a handloom weaver. Daina, designer, Handloom DIC government of Manipur, spoke about innovations and design in handlooms. As Paubiak Mang Ngaiti emphasized the need to promote handlooms as a symbol of Indian culture and heritage. He also highlighted the importance of cluster development in the handloom sector. Zamlung Mangzo, guest of honor, emphasized the significance of handlooms in empowering women and generating employment. He also highlighted the potential of handlooms in contributing to the economy. Chief guest Semintang Lintang emphasized the importance of empowering women through handlooms, as they constitute a significant portion of the population. He also highlighted the need to promote handlooms to preserve cultural heritage. They even aim to promote handlooms and empower weavers, especially women, to contribute to the economy and preserve cultural heritage. India issued on Tuesday a safety warning for nationals visiting the UK in the wake of riots targeting minority communities. A wave of violent unrest and disorder has engulfed the UK since last week, after a misinformation campaign struck outrage over a stabbing attack that killed 3 young girls and injured 10 people, mostly children, in Southport, Northern England. False rumors spread online that the suspect of the incident was a Muslim asylum seeker, leading to attacks on immigrants and mosques. India has since joined a growing number of countries, including Australia, Nigeria, and Indonesia, that have issued safety warning for their citizens in the UK. Visitors from India are advised to stay vigilant and exercise due caution while traveling in the UK, the High Commission of India in London said in a statement. It is advisable to follow local news and advisories issued by local security agencies and to avoid areas where protests are underway. The UK is home to over 1.9 million British Indians and a popular destination for many from the South Asian nations, with more than 6 lakh Indian travelers visiting Britain just last year. Ajay Prakash, who is originally from Bihar and now runs a travel agency in London, said his clients are starting to consider cancelling their upcoming trips to the UK because of the unrest. We are very much concerned. Because of this, we are getting several calls from our own customers who have booked their trips for UK tours specifically. This is impacting our business a lot, he told Arab News in a phone interview. Prakash, who is also the secretary of an Indian community association, said many Asians have grown increasingly concerned over how the situation is unfolding in the UK. What I can say is that the Asian community as a whole are all concerned at the moment, he said. We are scared. Terming India as a big power and important country, Iran's ambassador to India, Iras Elahi, on Tuesday said that there is an expectation that New Delhi can and should play a more active role in the current crisis in West Asia. Speaking to ANI, Elahi stated that India has good ties with Israel and can use its influence to stop the genocide in this region and Gaza and keep the peace in Palestine. On being asked about India's role amid the ongoing crisis in West Asia, the Iranian envoy said, since the beginning of the tragic incidents and crimes of Israel in Gaza, I repeatedly mentioned that India is an important country, is a big power and influential country in the international community. Besides this, it has good relations with Israel and Iran, and also India. As a non-aligned movement founder has supported Palestine case in the history of the region. So there is an expectation that India can and should play more active role in the current crisis in the region and tensions in the region. You know, the government of India has very good relations with the ruling party in Israel and the government of Israel. So it can use its influence to convince them to stop this genocide in the region and in Gaza and stop crimes and keep the peace in Palestine. From the Iranian side, we are in collaborations with India in many cases, and we hope that, we are trying to convince India to keep peace in the region, he said. Over 2,000 Hamas terrorists breached Israeli borders on October 7, killing 1,200 Israelis and taking over 250 as hostages, out of whom around 120 are still in Hamas captivity, with many of them feared death. Following this, Israel launched a strong counter-offensive carrying out military operations against Hamas in the Gaza Strip with the aim of completely eliminating the group. The tension in West Asia have further escalated after Hamas political bureau chief Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Iran's capital, Tehran, on July 31. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, said that the Ismail Haniyeh had been killed in an attack in Tehran. A projectile hit a residence allocated to war veterans in Tehran at 2 a.m. local time, according to Press TV report. Haniyeh, who was based in Qatar, traveled to Tehran to attend the swearing-in ceremony of the Iranian president-elect, Masoud Pezeshkian, according to a Press TV report. On August 1, the Israel Defense Force (IDF) on Thursday announced that Hamas military wing commander Mohammed Deif had been killed in an airstrike in the southern Gaza Strip on July 13. President Draupadi Murmu was on Tuesday conferred the Companion of the Order of Fiji, the country's highest civilian award, as she held the ties between the two countries and said India stands ready to partner with Fiji to build a stronger, resilient, and more prosperous nation. President of Fiji conferred the Companion of the Order of Fiji upon President Draupadi Murmu. This is the highest civilian award of Fiji, the President's office said in a post on X. Murmu, who is on a 2-day visit to Fiji, described the honor as a reflection of the deep ties of friendship between India and Fiji. This is the first visit by an Indian head of state to the archipelago nations. As India emerges strongly on the global stage, we stand ready to partner with Fiji, according to our priorities, to build a stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous nation. Let us come together to unlock the full potential in our partnership for the mutual benefit of people of both our beloved countries, she said while addressing the parliament. She said that despite the vast difference in size, India and Fiji have much in common, including vibrant democracies. She recalled that almost 10 years ago, speaking in the same hall, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has underlined some basic values that unite India and Fiji. These include our democracy, the diversity of our societies, our creed that all human beings are equal, and our commitment to the liberty, dignity, and rights of every individual. These shared values are eternal and shall continue to guide us ahead, she said. In my short time here, I can see that the rest of the world has so much to learn from Fiji. The gentle Fijian way of life, the deep-rooted respect for traditions and customs, and an open and multicultural environment make Fiji so special in an increasingly conflict-ridden world. No wonder Fiji is the place where the rest of the world comes to find its happiness, she said. She said she was confident that the newly announced projects, including the super specialty cardiology hospital to be established in Suva, would help to meet the priority needs of the people of Fiji and the wider Pacific region. She also said that it is heartening to know how the Girmitiyas and their descendants have been embraced by Fiji when they first arrived here. More than 145 years ago, destiny bound our two countries together when indentured workers first arrived on the shores of Fiji Islands from India, she said. Though their early life here was filled with danger and hardship, it is heartening to know that how the Girmitiyas and their descendants have been embraced by this country. In return, they have contributed immensely to the building of their new homeland through their hard work and diligence. Earlier, President Murmu was warmly received by President Katoniver at State House, where the two leaders discussed ways to deepen the bilateral ties. At State House, President Draupadi Murmu also witnessed the progress of the solarizations of Head of State Residences project, an Indian initiative which was inaugurated in February last year, her office said in a post on X. Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka called on President Murmu, and the two leaders held wide-ranging discussions and agreed to build upon the historic ties and strengthen the partnership between the two countries. She also addressed the Indian community here and thank the government of Fiji for conferring her with the highest civilian award. Addressing the Indian community, she said, "You came 145 years ago, yet you have not forgotten your culture, your language, your tradition, your lifestyle. That's why I thank you very much. With your hard work, discipline, and values, you have been successful in all areas of life." She also said that the Indian diaspora has been a living bridge in the process of strengthening the friendship between the two countries. Bangladesh Nobel-winning microfinance pioneer Muhammad Yunus has been tapped to lead an interim government after the ouster of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the country's presidency, announced early Wednesday. The decision to form an interim government with Yunus as its chief was taken at a meeting of President Muhammad Sahabuddin, military leaders, and the heads of the Students Against Discrimination groups, Sahabuddin's press office said. Nahid Islam, a leader of the student group, confirmed the decision to reporters that after 2 years of talks at the presidential palace, the president had asked the people to help ride out the crisis. Quick formations of an interim government is necessary to overcome the crisis, Sahabuddin's office said in a statement. Sahabuddin also said the national police chief in the wake of Delhi protests that sparked Hasina's departure and named a replacement, his office said. Islam called the talks fruitful and said that Sahabuddin had agreed that the interim government will be formed within the shortest time possible. Turkey will file a request with the United Nations Court to join South Africa's genocide lawsuit against Israel, a Turkish official said. Turkey, whose President Recep Tayyip has frequently compared Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Adolf Hitler and accused his country of genocide, will become the latest nation to seek to participate in the case. Nicaragua, Colombia, Libya, Mexico, Spain, and Palestinian officials have sought to join the case, but the court's decision on their request is still pending. Meanwhile, the United States have communicated to Iran and Israel that conflict in the Middle East must not escalate. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, even as the Pentagon warned that it would not tolerate the attacks against its forces in the region. Blinken said everyone in the region should understand the risk of escalations and miscalculations. Netanyahu told his cabinet over the weekend that Israel is already in a multi-front war with Iran and its proxies. The Middle East is bracing for a possible new wave on attacks as Iran and its allies seek revenge following last week's killing of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah leader Fuad Shukr. Hamas later chose Yahya Sinwar, its top official in Gaza, who masterminded the October 7 attacks in Israel, as its new leader. Inside Gaza, the only humanitarian corridor to enter the south has been shut down because of fighting in the area, even as the death toll in the enclave nears 40,000. The Iranian government has requested advanced radars and air defense systems from Russia in preparations for a possible war with Israel. The New York Times reported on this with reference to its own sources. Two Iranian officials, one of whom is a member of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, confirmed that Iran had requested advanced air defense equipment from Russia. Specific systems are not named, but it concerns Russia-produced air surveillance, radar systems, and air defense systems. The request was made during former Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu's visit to Iran, where he met with Masoud Pezeshkian, the country's new president, and Brigadier General Mohammad Bagheri, commander of the Iranian armed forces, who is leading the planning for military strikes on Israel. The media notes that these requests may be part of the preparations for military operations against Israel, which is supposed to be revenge for the assassinations of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran last week. At the same time, Russia itself is experiencing a significant deficit in air defense system. This is evidenced by the opening of the borders for the transfer of systems to Ukraine, including S-300 V4 system from the Kuril Islands. The Russian defense industry is also unable to cope with deliveries due to redirections of products to the need of the warring army. As a result, the completion of Indian contract for the supply of A-400 air defense system was postponed from 2023 to 2026. The Russian military continues to suffer significant losses in air defense systems from attacks by the Ukrainian military with ATACMS ballistic missiles and ZMLRS guided missiles. The production of air defense system is a long and painstaking process, so if the supply is approved, Iran will receive system from the balance of the Russian armed forces. Obviously, Iran is looking for ways to protect its military facilities from Israeli strikes. So we can discuss systems such as Pantsir S-1, Tor M2, Bak M2, and Bak M3, as well as the latest S-400. As many as 24 people, including an Indonesian citizen, were burned alive in Bangladesh on Monday night by a mob who set fire to a luxury hotel owned by Awami League leader in Zasor district. The incident took place after Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled the country. The victims, primarily hotel guests, were trapped in the blast that engulfed the Zabir International Hotel, owned by Sahin Jakladar, the district Awami League General Secretary. In the wake of former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's removal from power, a Hindu association in Bangladesh has reported that numerous Hindu homes, businesses, and temples have been targeted and vandalized. Hindus make up roughly 8% of Bangladesh's 171 million populations and have traditionally supported Hasina's Awami League party. Various news reports suggested Sheikh Hasina's trip to London has encountered a setback due to unspecified uncertainties, and she will likely stay in India for a few more days. After arriving at the Hindon Air Base on Monday in a C-130J military transport aircraft following her resignation as Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina has been moved to an undisclosed location with tight security measures. President Mohammed Sahabuddin appointed Muhammad Yunus to head Bangladesh's interim government after consulting with student leaders and the chiefs of the three military services. The student leaders said they wanted Muhammad Yunus to serve as the chief advisor to interim government, and a representative for Yunus confirmed his willingness. Currently, Yunus is in Paris undergoing a medical procedure and is expected to return to Dhaka shortly. The Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council BHBCUC reported that between 200 and 300 predominantly Hindu homes and businesses have been vandalized since Monday, with 15 to 20 Hindu temples damaged. According to Rana Dasgupta, the council's general secretary, up to 40 people have sustained injuries, though none are serious, as reported by news agency Reuters. A mob set fire to Zabir International Hotel, killing 24 people. Doctors at Zasor General Hospital reported counting 24 bodies at the hotel. Hotel staff said that more bodies might still be buried in the rubble. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.